you ever been naughty? I'll bet you have, once or twice. Well, little Miss Naughty was naughty all the time. She awoke one Sunday morning, bright and early, and looked out of her window.
Looks like a nice day for being naughty.
Now, that particular Sunday, Mr. Uppity was out for his morning stroll.
I'm going to knock his hat off.
From behind a wall, Miss Naughty knocked Mr. Uppity's hat off his head with a walking stick.
My hat!
That same day, Mr. Greedy had put a turkey in the oven for lunch, a rather large turkey.
Sure beats eating a TV dinner. I'm going to steal it.
Oh, no. Who's that at the door just when I'm about to eat my, delicious lunch? Well, I'll answer it. Hello? Nobody's there. We're back to lunch. Oh, no! Oh!
Poor Mr. Greedy. A sausage isn't much of a lunch when you've been looking forward to a whole turkey, is it? And do you know what Miss Naughty did that evening? She went to an expensive restaurant and ordered all the most expensive food on the menu.
I'd like some oysters, caviar, fresh salmon, side order fries, hold the slaw, T-bone steak, well done, cheesecake a la mode, and your best bottle of lemonade.
And then do you know what she did? She sent the bill to Mr. Mean. Naughty girl. What a shock. The next day, she met Mr. Worry.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Oh, what is the problem?
Looks to me like you got measles. Your face looks like a pizza.
Oh, dear.
He worried off to see Dr. Makuel. Well, Dr. Makuel listened to Mr. Worry's tale and took a mirror from his desk.
Oh, there's no spots. What a thing to say to me when it wasn't true.
Oh, what a lovely day. And it isn't even dinner time yet.
The city council decided to hold a meeting.
Something has to be done.
Announced Mr. Uppity, holding out his bent hat. And Mr. Greedy thought.
Yes,
He cleared his throat and spoke.
I forgot what I was going to say. Well, I know what the little lady needs, and I know who can do it.
Oh, really? Who?
Come on, let's have it. Oh, that would be telling then, wouldn't it?
Mr. Worry went to see a friend of his, someone who could do impossible things, like making himself invisible. Meanwhile, that afternoon, while Mr. Nosy was asleep under a tree, little Miss Naughty crept towards him with a pot of paint in one hand, a paintbrush in the other, and a large grin on her face.
I'm going to paint his nose red.
But just as she was about to do the dreadful deed, something happened. The brush jumped out of her hand. Then it dipped itself into the red paint and began to chase Miss Naughty down the road.
Oh, no! Stop! Help! Help!
Somebody was holding the pot and brush. I wonder who. Mr. Jelly was waiting for a bus all alone when, behind his back, little Miss Naughty crept up quietly. She had a balloon in one hand and a pin in the other. Oh, she couldn't do that to poor, nervous Mr. Jelly, could she? Of course she could.
He'll really jump when this balloon goes bang.
But just as she was about to make the balloon go bang, something happened. The balloon began to grow larger and larger as some invisible person blew air into it. Slowly, Miss Naughty began to lift off the ground.
Help! Help! Put me down! Put me down! Put me down!
She sailed away, up and over the trees, and may have sailed on forever if the balloon hadn't finally burst. Poor Miss Naughty, she fell into a duck pond. The next day, Mr. Lazy was in bed fast asleep. Outside his house, little Miss Naughty stood by the front door. She raised her hand. Uh-oh, she couldn't be so naughty as to knock on that door and wake up poor Mr. Lazy. Not at 6 o'clock in the morning. She couldn't. Oh, yes, she could.
Oh, won't it make him angry waking him up this early?
But just before she did, guess what? That naughty girl felt someone who was invisible tweak her nose hard.
Oh, ouch! Oh, ouch! Oh, stop it! It'll get off! It's not fair!
And little Miss Naughty ran home holding her nose. After that, she was cured. No more naughtiness at all. The next day, Mr. Worry went to thank his invisible friend.
Good morning, Mr. Impossible. Thank you very much for helping me to cure poor little Miss Naughty of naughtiness.
My pleasure. But it did take a week.
Yes, indeed. And a tweak?